whatever manner it can. May I now request Ambassador Dr. Dinesh Bhattarai, please, to talk, to respond. Unmute, please. Unmute Deepak ji, Dinesh ji.
Okay, sir. Can you hear me now?
Yes, of course, very much.
Sir, thank you so much. I think so many questions, very interesting questions, and so many things to say, but I would be try to be very brief. About the expansion of territory from 35 square kilometer to 370.
65 to.
65 to, okay, sorry. 65 to, and you know that the boundary protocol signed between China and Nepal on October 5th, 1961 fixes the pillar number 1 at Tinker Pass, and with an understanding that because the situation was not conducive, so there was an understanding that pillar number 0.
Where is this understanding written? Or where is it shown? What is the evidence of that understanding?
Yeah. I think for all that and the evidence, our respective evidences, I think if we sit across the table, I think we'll present, and whatever is proven, I think we shall have to go by that, sir. Nepal is ready. I think Nepal should be ready to go by that conclusion. And what I have read, I'm going to like. Tinker Pass has pillar number 1, and the pillar 0, that is Tri-Junction, is yet to be fixed. And Lipu Lake is 4 kilometers northwest of Tinker Pass, and Limpiadhura is 53 kilometers from Tinker Pass. So, as you referred rightly, 1816 treaty and subsequent treaties, of course, they are there, and they will be discussed in the table and compared. external powers also. They are active with varied interests. There's nothing to it. So while we need their help also, their friendship, their cooperation, we have to be careful because there is a chance in this diversity to erupt, social engineering, even geo-engineering, possibilities of geo-engineering. No, we should take a big picture. And if Nepal is in trouble, I don't think India, it will be helpful to India.
All right, all right.
So that way, let us not go by the traditional approach. Let us think of what I would say innovative approach to keep the warmth and friendship of Nepal-India relation, and let us this protect the preciousness
Okay, I think
of Nepal-India relations.
Yeah, that's a positive note here.
I think on that, if you have other time further, I can go, but I think I will stop here since there is a constraint of time. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Dr. Nihar Nayak?
Yeah, thank you, sir. There are several questions are raised, particularly Pramod has a very
5 minutes.
Yeah, Pramod has a very basically a lot of questions raised, and Deepak also mentioned a couple of points. I would like to start with that. One clarity is missing here. One is whether Nepal wants to resolve this border dispute based on the treaty of the 1816 text of the treaty or the map, because there are two things are here. Because when the treaty was signed, the map was not issued. And from 1827 to 1930, British India issued 7 maps. If up to 7 maps, initial 3 maps supports Nepal, rest of the 4 maps supports India. So it's very confusing. And Nepal and the new map, which has been issued by Nepal recently, is based on the 1816 treaty only, treaty text, not map. The India now claims that based on that amendment treaty of the Article 2 and the original treaty Article 3, then what will happen? Because Nepal has gone by the treaty text only. They have not referred the map. So that will lead to a lot of controversy and chaos in future. Regarding this hydrology, the hydrology and administrative power and revenue proof, I would like to bring to the panel's notice here that territory, that Limpiadura, Lipule, Kalapan, that particular territory was under Nepalese control for 25 years. Think about the pre-Saha invasion. Before the pre-Saha invasion, that territory was part of India, British India. It was only for 25 years. Again, from 1816 onwards, it was not with Nepal. So try to understand that culturally, linguistically, and geographically. I mean, India has a proof also that 25 years only for Nepal control. So we shouldn't be, there are a lot of counter questions will go for the negotiation. That's so don't think that is everything is clear from a Nepalese point of sight. Coming to this provocating third party Pramod, I would like to bring out to 4 points here. Number one, I'm telling you, I will go by the evidences and the points I'm telling you here. November 1st, 2008, when the Chinese military delegation visited and met Bamdev Gautam, they said that we will have a tripartite discussion on Kalapani. For example, Kalapani. Kalapani is not a tri-junction, nowhere related to China's boundary. And the Chinese government, Chinese military delegation agreed to have a tripartite discussion. So that is the first triggering point where government of India came under perception that China has been playing a role in that. Number 2 point here, Susta. Susta has been officially always recorded that is a disputed territory. The question comes, why the new map doesn't figure Susta in that? So here we see some suspecting that Chinese intents and Chinese interest in that, because Susta is not in the new map. That means technically your new map, as you claim, is not complete, because the only Limpiadura, Lipule, Kalimari, the Susta is still missing. So the emblem is not complete yet. So the Nepal government itself is contradicting, and Susta is not strategically important from China, and that's why the Susta is not in the map. It's very clear. Number 3 point, Global Times claims on June 18, it says that India could face military presence from China, Pakistan, or even Nepal if tension along the border continues. This is the Global Times on it. So, and again in China, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs in again the 20 says that no unilateral action should be taken at the junction, at the tri-junction. So there are evidences China is definitely probing, particularly your Defense Minister Ishwar Pokhriyal and the Prime Minister K.V. Sharma Oli. They both have issued this map on the behalf of China. There are clear-cut cases. So there is no dispute on that. That map is issued on the basis of China, and China has been provocating that. So very clear. Second thing is the question about that, why India is not discussing, why no dialogue is not happening, why the foreign secretary level is. So I'll just take you to again the evidence here. See the joint commission's statement and the Prime Minister's statement in the August. It clearly says that the foreign secretary level talk will happen on the Susta and Kalapani only when the boundary working group will provide a technical support. And for your kind information, the boundary working group has not completed any task yet, despite one extension, and they are not in position to provide technical support to the foreign secretary meeting. So that is the one fact. It's clear that obviously the foreign secretary level can't be undertaken at this situation because the boundary working committee can't provide a technical support in this. So so obviously it is not possible to that. Regarding this ego problem, I see certainly it's not ego problem. I'll tell you the particular case to you here. I don't know how many people know about that. On 18th May, 1:30, the Prime Minister of Nepal called to our contact or Prime Minister of India office. And they requested that have a telephonic dispersion at the 4:30. And 1:30 to 4:30, just before 5 minutes before the telephonic conversation, the Prime Minister of Nepal issued the new map at the cabinet meeting. That is why the government of India cancelled the meeting. So it is not an ego problem. The Nepal, many people, they know about all those details. You should understand that why did government of India not go for that? This is a betrayal from the Nepal side. When you're fixing a telephonic time, at the same time you are issuing new map and say talking about our Prime Minister of India. So obviously this is not the done. You can't blame India that India is not open for dialogue. And after that, our ambassador met several times and several officials of the Nepal, and and several times they requested that you just don't go for the amendment. This will create problem for us.
Yeah.
So they didn't do that. So it can't say that's because of ego problem. Regarding the EPG, with the last point, sir, EPG, I'm telling you the EPG report is already published in Nepal. Can anyone answer these questions to me? Why did the EPG member of Nepal public that report just before the submission? So obviously there's a lot of problem from Nepal side. Don't say that's only from the India is creating problem. So EPG, that's one reason could be that government of India is not willing for that submission of that EPG report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nihar, for bringing out this informal contact between New Delhi and Kathmandu on the negotiations. In fact, there are more details to it. The informal contact for 4:30 was fixed, as you said rightly, but the same morning, the Foreign Ministry had informed Oli's office that if the talks will happen if no map is issued, and the assurances was given that no map would be issued. And then you said rightly at the last moment, they issued the map, despite the understanding given to Delhi that map would not be issued. So this informal contact was already there, and the Nepalese violated, largely the PMO of Nepal violated this understanding, and therefore the talks could not continue. There are many other such things, I don't want to go into them, but the Nepalese friend must understand that it is not in vacuum that India is angry with the way Prime Minister Oli's office has been functioning. May I now request Dr. Pramod Jaiswal to make his response, please?
Thank you, sir. Sir said that, Nihar said that Chinese has been raising. In fact, Chinese raised that issue even at the time of Doklam. They said that we can also raise the issue of Kalapani and all those. So Chinese are talking since 2 years ago, and they'll keep talking because now they are they have been engaging very strongly in Nepal. So I do not deny like other people that China are sleeping in Nepal. They're not sleeping. Pakistan is not sleeping, and many other powers are not sleeping, like India is not sleeping here. So everyone plays their role. I do not deny to that. There can be, but if you come with a statement that it is only for others' provocation and Nepalese has no desire for resolving their issues, and Nepalese are like, if you claim certain territories of Nepal, they will keep quiet and all, this is demeaning. Like, this is a whole on Nepal. Second is confusion is there. Like you said, yes, there are lots of confusion, and that is the reason we need dialogue. Otherwise, if there is no confusion, we can send a letter to India that please vacate your force and we are coming in 10 minutes. So there are confusions. That's why we're trying to have dialogue and resolve and all. Third, you're talking about task committees, 18 May, 1:30 p.m. and all these issues might be real, but this kind of excess of information is only between you or the very thing. This has to come to the public domain. Like if the leader of Nepal are trying to work in against the, I mean, they're not working in the interest of people, and this should come to the people. I mean, why India is so shy when their media are talking every day, debating on it? Why should it come through only through webinar? And I'm getting first time this information that there was dialogue. So why should not every Nepali know that their information was there? Why there was no proper communication? And why informal? I mean, when the issues has gone in the clouds, why there is so much informal things and not formal things taking place? Because there is much beyond that has happened. So formal, why it was not there? Second, like you also said that EPG report is already published. I have also not access to that. I mean, I would love to read it if it is available, because that is how you can kill the issues. What India is doing, they are just piling up the issues and not resolving it. Rather, we will not talk. So these things are resolving, complicating the problem. I'll end it here. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I am not very sure if we have satisfied the audiences, because we have not provided major solutions to that. I quite see there are three ways of solutions. One, that Nepal accepts India's sovereignty on the territory and then resolves it. Or second, India accepts Nepal's sovereignty and resolves it. Third, that even while accepting each other's sovereignty, there is also a concept of joint sovereignty, which the two can accept it and resolve it. If the sovereignties are not accepted, the two countries can decide to go to the international mediation if they don't accept it. But for all that, I mean, the real point is that Nepal and India must objectively assess each other's claims, which have not been done. And as I said, I repeat, I am reasonably certain that India has a very, very strong case which should be put forth. There are lapses on both the sides, as the panel has brought out very clearly. This is, it's no point in raising accusing fingers. You did that, we did that, would not take us any far. But the best way would be to cool down the political atmosphere, raise the spirit of mutual understanding and interdependence, and probably then, once the atmosphere is cool, then sit down on the table and see what can be done. Before that, it cannot be done. In the present atmosphere, there is no point in India saying that Nepalese, you have done this, and the Nepalese asking India, you are not starting the negotiations. The Kathmandu must definitely lower the political temperature. The repeated reference to media in India has started talking about Nepal only now. We never talked about it, and I agree with you that there are many of the media reports which are offensive and unbecoming. I also agree, Pramod, with you that maybe our army chief should not have made that statement which he made. But even before that statement, the OLI's PMO had started working on the map. So let us not forget about it. I mean, it is true that he had done that, but much before that, you have started working on a course which was not very desirable, which was politically driven. I hope that good sense prevails both on Delhi and Kathmandu, and we get back to the train of mutual understanding and bridge what Dr. Bhattarai had said as the trust deficit between us. Unless we are trusting each other, nothing would move forward. I hope that, as I said again, wisdom dawns on both the sides and we see the good relations. With this, I think we should conclude it. I'm sorry we have overshot the time, but you know the enthusiasm and passion with which the panelists have been talking could not be stopped. Thank you, Miley. I hand over the mic to you now to do whatever you want to do.
Thank you very much, sir. It is a pleasure and honor to have you here with your extensive work on Nepal and the perspective you've given, though you are a chairperson, but we like to have you on some separate occasion to speak to us on this topic exclusively. And thank you very much for agreeing to share it in the short notice. And also thanks to Ambassador Ranjit Ray and then Ambassador Dinesh Bhatrai for accepting your invitation and giving their perspective with their own work experience and having the inside knowledge about the foreign policy making. So I'm glad that you accepted, and thank you very much. And also thanks to my colleague, former colleague, Dr. Nihar Nayak from IDSA and Dr. Pramod Jaiswal to have you here and give your perspective. And of course, as we have extended the time, but still some people may be unhappy because we don't discuss much. Having a 6 or 7 panel, difficult to cover everything. But we